it's going to be Cursed Hollow here from compLexity up against Gryphus. And wow, already just quick. No Illidan, no Jaina, says Gryphus. They're not willing to go up against the Frost Queen, so to speak.
Finally, we got some bans out on the true gods of Heroes of the Storm. Illidan being first banned by compLexity and Jaina being banned by Gryphus. And we do have a first pick onto Vala from compLexity. I really do like this as a first pick. Vala still being a top tier assassin and a good one on that for the Cursed Hollow.
As she's still pretty much number one when it comes to that back line. She's super solid. And at the same time, Jaina, I mean, she does some great bursts, but whereas Vala can really do some very heavy sustain. So not too much of a surprise as the first pick. This was the first pick as well from compLexity last round. And I want to say it did them justice, but there's the ban from game number one, the Zagara going the way of Gryphus. And, I say this a lot, but we see so much first pick Zagara these days.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Zagara has come back into popularity and in such a strong way. And I feel that a lot of it has to do with the Diablo buffs as well. As we know, Devouring Maw and Apocalypse can be such a devastating combo to pull off. And Zagara also being quite a nice pick here on the Cursed Hollow, offering a lot of lane pressure and pushing power in lanes, especially when set up in those devastating tri-lane setups. But we also have some narrow corridors in Cursed Hollow that Maw can do tons of work, but we are also going to have a Tyrande follow-up for Gryphus.
So, again, once going back to it, the five powerful ladies of Heroes of the Storm right now. There's four of them, and the fifth one is global ban. So that's why we're not going to be seeing a Sylvanas. It's just these have so much power behind these picks. But Zagara Tyrande is a very solid start here from Gryphus. And compLexity now with no Illidan. Are we going to see any melee from them, you think?
It's definitely an interesting question. I don't think we'll see any melee assassins out of them. I think they'll probably play a rotational kind of triple range setup, possibly with a Tassadar coming out here. I wouldn't be surprised to see an ETC Tassadar pickup, and we do have that ETC coming out from compLexity. Let's see what their third hero will be. I do expect it to be Tassadar, but it could be some other heroes as well.
Uther, Rhaegar, who else is out there? In terms of like a global presence, they got the stage dive, so they're kind of covered there. They don't really need to like go super far out in that regard. I can't imagine it's going to be a Brightwing deny.
Well, I think a Uther deny could be very strong here because of the fact that Gryphus has that Devouring Maw into Divine Storm combo. You have that amazing Uther Tyrande synergy, but I just feel that Tassadar, they could get it here, but I feel like they can hold off a little bit. I don't think Gryphus is going to want to go for a Tyrande, Zagara, and Tassadar. It's just too much, light damage kind of utility. I feel that Zagara and Tyrande are already kind of utility-based, so I think an Uther pick here would be in compLexity's best interest.
Well, they're really taking their time thinking about this one. It's a very difficult pick, it seems, as we're dipping really low into the pool time. There's the Uther. So they have now settled on that as a deny, or in terms of just as a generalized pick. I think that compLexity is very comfortable with that Uther, especially with the ETC. So I'd say that they got their comfort picks so far into this, but they did have to dedicate quite a bit of pool time for it. That being said, they only got really one more round that it's going to be needed for us. So that is exactly why we have pool time for this regard. Now, what is Gryphus going to show us? We had the Zagara ban last round. They went up against the Tyrandas. We don't have any repeats from them as of yet. Jaina's on the ban, and they don't have to deal with the Illidan. So the Brightwing was phenomenally played out. They had the Diablo into the front line there as well. What kind of damage could they augment their Zagara with?
There's a couple different options here. I think that they could potentially go for even a Tychus here. Tychus being a strong assassin as well. Not as strong as Vala or Jaina, but still pretty strong. And I'm also curious to see what they pick up for the warrior. I would have to imagine it's going to be Diablo, but I think they can put it off here to last pick because complexity did already pick that ETC, but proving me wrong, they're actually going to get that Diablo right here and right now with the Malfurion. This is Gryphus could potentially go for a double warrior setup with those kinds of picks, I think.
Stitches, Chen. What would you think about a melee to add to the Gryphus as the last pick here? Kerrigan, Zeratul.
A Kerrigan pick, I think, could be decent. I'm not sure though. I mean, going against an ETC and an Uther it could be a bit dangerous, but for something tells me that they might want to get a double warrior setup. But Tychus is also a nice option if they want to get some additional damage. But I'm really interested to see what complexity picks here. I have to imagine it's Tassadar Vikings. Tassadar and Vikings being very, very strong heroes. This would make complexity basically a wave flare kind of rotational comp, map control comp. Plus, it would also give that Lost Viking split, which is so very, very strong on the Cursed Hollow, able to deny the tribute gathering of Gryphus and soak 3 lanes of experience at the same time with the Lost Vikings. So I really want to see Lost Vikings here out of complexity. Will we see it? I am not completely sure.
Well, they're down to the bare bones of it. So far, you have been right with the Uther, the Tasta, the ETC, all coming out as predicted. Will this be a Viking split soak from complexity? Will they try to augment it with a little bit more damage in terms of an actual assassin? Would they go for the hammer? Would they go for the Falstad? Would they put a Zeratul into something like this? Well, they're going to have to tell us in the next few seconds. Oh, it will be the beginnings of the Void Prisons.
Yeah. It's possible that they were scared of the Zeratul coming out from Gryphus, not wanting to have the Zeratul setting up the Void Prism for the Wombo combo, which can be so devastating. But what is Gryphus going to do to respond here? Did they actually want that Zeratul, or did they have something
just
else
go Vikings. They clearly know how to use them.
Yeah, I mean, the Lost Vikings being one of the best heroes in the game, by many players nowadays. They could get a lot of value out of a last pick Vikings once again, but will it fit into their team comp?
I don't think we're gonna get that portrait. We're gonna have to ask them in game what this was. But I mean, before we actually look at it, Vikings could do some really good work here because Gryphus obviously know how to use them. But up against a roaming Zeratul a little bit early on, they might fall a little flat or at least a little scared. It might be crazy, but what do you think about a last pick Arthas? You did mention a double warrior possibility, and having that kind of AoE control could actually go very well for an Apocalypse Maw.
Yeah, I think it could be a decent pick. They would have to execute their team fights very, very well to pull it off. But I definitely think it could be a possibility. Arthas and Tyrande have some really nice synergy. You can
Especially
also
early game, yeah.
Yes, indeed. And then you can also have the Diablo pick up, charge, overpower into Arthas route as well with the Tyrande stun. So there's a lot of different options there. And we are going to get into this lobby now.
Yeah, and it turns out if you actually just refresh the draft, it will actually show you. So here you go, guys. It is actually the Vikings as that last pick. So it will be once more Ozzy playing out those Vikings. And again, he did some fantastic work with them last round. He was able to get into the back lines somehow, virtually untouched. He was able to bully out the Vala, the Tyrande, anybody that didn't really have those escape mechanisms. He didn't even have to use the boat in some of these. I mean, he got in, triple Qs, he used the jumps, and he peeled, and it was just really good. So we're going to have to see if he can duplicate that performance here into game number 2.
Yes, indeed. And I really just feel that complexity kind of missed the ticket here by not getting the Lost Vikings. I feel that the Lost Vikings, every team out there that is taking Heroes of Storm on any competitive level should have someone studying the Lost Vikings, learning how to play them. They are just such a superb hero at the moment. And to get so much draft value in a last pick Lost Vikings, especially on a map like Cursed Hollow, is just amazing. And I feel that in almost any team composition, they can fit in quite well.
They have really come into their own. When they came out in the very beginning, they're just like, maybe a bit more of a pub stomp hero. But I mean, we've seen a lot of innovation. Fnatic Shinobu is really, really good at that. In fact, you actually have to ban Vikings against Fnatic. We've seen Tempo Storm. We've seen the Cloud9s. A lot of really good Lost Vikings players out there, and I think Blizzard has to be very happy with how the Vikings have ended up, because they were looking for a higher skill cap champion, or hero, I should say, and I really do think that they have brought that to the game with those with the triple units.
Yeah, the Lost Vikings. It's so interesting that despite the fact that, well, I personally consider them the best hero, but people are starting to think the Lost Vikings are really overpowered, but then you just have the skill ceiling of them, and even the skill entry level of them are just so high that teams are flat out refusing to pick them, and sometimes even refusing to ban them.
I've seen the bans, but they are few and far between, for sure. A lot of people do actually enjoy, banning out Jaina's, Illidan's. On more of our side of the ocean, we actually see a lot of Rhaegar bans going back and forth. So, we had a Zagara ban last round as well. I mean, Gryphus, as soon as they saw that the Zagara got through, they immediately pick it up. It's a very popular choice for your backline. It brings a lot of control with the Maw. So, I mean, the bans are very fluid. It's almost like game to game, team to team. We almost have to have these specialized bans against them, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I just have to say again that I feel that compLexity really missed the boat here. No pun intended, but they really
I get it.
I really feel like they had the perfect setup for the Lost Vikings, but once again, Gryphus going for those Vikings, and I'm really, I mean, their comp is pretty scary. Like, they have a lot of AoE, and I'm really curious to see, will the Malfurion go for Tranquility, or will he go for Twilight Dream? Twilight Dream can add even crazier amounts of AoE damage to Gryphus's lineup, but Tranquility can also, kind of help them stay alive against the not so bursty composition of compLexity. They do have a little bit of burst, but it'll be interesting to see which heroic ability that Malfurion decides to opt for.
Yeah, we have Static Charge Archon. Like that's really the big burst that compLexity can really bring into this. Now, last time we had Reign of Vengeance as well. Could be a strafe this round here from Vala. In terms of the stuns, I mean, we have a few. The Diablo can definitely put up a big fight. At the same time, Tyrande and the Zagara Maw. But if you're going to have Maw, it doesn't really matter if you have the Reign of Vengeance or not. So, I mean, it could go either way. You are right. It is a bit more of a low damage team from compLexity. Double support is up against now double support. And Gryphus, I mean, if they just get anybody, it could be game. I don't know what's going on with the lobbies here. I think we're playing musical lobbies. I'm trying to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, compLexity had a little, they were inquiring if they would be able to switch which team was hosting, because obviously this is an NA versus EU match, so compLexity complaining about a little bit of a higher ping in the match, so they're trying to see if they can do anything about the hosting situation to make it, kind of fair for both teams. But we do have a new lobby here, and joining that now.
Was it compLexity that was blue this round?
I'm not sure.
All right, casters are ready. Good luck, have fun. I just need to quickly turn around. Oh, there you go. Come on back to me, Nick. I just got to turn around the scores and the names, and we're going to jump into game number 2 of our semis, ladies and gentlemen. It will be compLexity on the blue, and it will be Gryphus on the red. Bam, bam, 1. Save, and we're good. All right, let's get this game going. I'm just psyched to see what the result of Cursed Hollow is going to be, because the winner of this is inducted into the top 8, which will be hosted next weekend here, and that's where all the prizes, all the money is going to be. The top 3 of those 8 are going to go home with cash from our sponsors, Alienware and Gosugamers. It's also hardware from Rocap, peripherals, gaming mice, keyboards, mouse pads, that sort of like. So, some fantastic sponsors here for Alienware Enter the Storm. And we're almost done this incredible journey, Nick Hotz.
Yes, an incredible journey it has been, but I mean, it's just beginning as well. We still have more cups to come, more money, more prizes, and Heroes of the Storm is so young of a game, and I'm just so excited for more esports to come, more hero releases, and everything that Blizzard and other esports organizations has planned for this game. So, yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, I believe this weekend alone had 3 separate Heroes of the Storm Europe events. Gamers 2, we have, of course, the Gosu Cup, Zotac Cup, and I think there was one more, but it's evading me at the top of my head. I mean, we also had the ESL Majors just yesterday. We got the Go Force today as well later on into the broadcast day. And at the same time, I mean, we also have Heroes of the Dorm, I believe, wrapped up yesterday. So we should have like the top 64, the top 16 of the collegiate, and that's going to be a big event hosted by Blizzard themselves by the end of this month. It's a young but a very growing, very vibrant scene, and this isn't even mentioning any of the amateur leagues out there, any of the weekly stuff, the show matches that are always going on. I mean, there is a lot of stuff now ramping up.
Yeah, man, it's really amazing. Heroes of the Dorm, I just gotta have to hand it to Blizzard. That's such a good opportunity for people going to college and really enjoying gaming and esports. So I really have to thank Blizzard for doing something like that. That's very unique and awesome. So props to them. And I'm really looking forward to other things they may have planned. Hoping that we have some cool stuff on the way. But we are going to be getting into this game now. And I just wanted to mention one more thing about the draft. Mm-hmm. We've been seeing a lot of Divine Shield out of Uther play, but I have to imagine in this game from compLexity, based on their composition, and especially with that Zero tool pick, I do have to imagine we'll be seeing Divine Storm in this game.
Ooh, all right. There's the prediction there from Mr. Nick Hotz himself, the Uther God, as I've heard you called before. But it will be game number 2 here, ladies and gentlemen. compLexity and Gryphus now about to go off head-to-head. And the guys in blue loading in pretty quick. We're going to have to see if they can defeat their ping today. It will be the newly picked up Team compLexity, a.k.a. the Barrel Boys. You got Erho into the top, McIntyre, Kiyanda, not Trummel. It's totally not Trummel. And Blinks are going to be rounding out the roster, and they're down 1-0 currently.
10 seconds.
Yes, indeed, and they run into a little bit of trouble last game.
4,
a lot of
3,
strong hero
2,
picks from the side of
1.
Gryphus, as well as strong play to back it up. But
begin.
in this game, will they be able to stop the terror that is Gryphus?
Yeah, Gryphus is... Yeah, I'm becoming a fan, man. They had a really good game number 1, some very solid mechanics. I mean, Inception into the bottom is now going to be on Zagara, which is a very favored pick, I want to say, in the current meta. So we're going to have to see what Zagara can do there. But, Max Prime and Kandor, they are once again setting up for that roam. It looks like that they are going to try to go for a gank this early, but I'm not entirely too sure they'll find it here into the bottom lane. It looks like Shevatos is going to be left to his own, and of course we got Ozzy on those Vikings in the top once more, and Erho is just saying, nope, not dealing with that.
Yeah, Erho just being really cautious. The Vikings, such a strong lane to deal with, and we do have in the bottom lane the Tyrande and Diablo pair that we saw. They had the Jaina Diablo last game, but now this game it's going to be Diablo Tyrande. But we do have that roam squad containing the Diablo coming out from Gryphus once again, and we'll have to see if they're able to pick off any heroes here. They are making their way possibly up to the top lane to kind of harass Erho.
Well, McIntyre with that stealth is going to have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to Ozzy, but it's not really going to be a big tell-all here. We also got now the scouting drone once more here from Erho. He's really favoring out the scouting drone on the ETC. No blocks here. Not once, I don't think, in this entire tournament have we seen an ETC from compLexity without the scouting drone.
Yeah, and it's such a strong pick once again against that roaming style that we have coming out from Gryphus. The Diablo Tyrande can make short work of any hero if they get caught out of position, but we do have that roaming squad from Gryphus actually heading over to their Siege Giant camps, and they are going to spawn at that 2-minute mark and immediately be being taken.
Yeah, we don't have a similar timing here from compLexity. That is one thing I will really give to European teams. They are very on top of these early Merc rotations. Tribute is going to be spawning. That feels actually rather early. But, okay, c'est la vie. Thought it was at the 2:45 marks for some silly reason, so, I don't know. Just playing with my mind there, Nick.
And we do have compLexity going for their Siege Giants as well, so I have to imagine they are going to maybe try to go for a couple delays here, but they have to be careful because Diablo is so very, very good at zoning out the tribute on this map. A Shadow Charge into Tyrande Stun can make short work of basically almost any hero, so yep. And that's going to be the first tribute going on over to the side of Gryphus.
Yeah, and you saw Ozzy actually rotate Eric into the mid. He was covering down that lane. Chevatos did go for the 4-man collapse on top of that tribute, and not really a lot of poke or soak going on from the side of compLexity. They didn't really try to prolong anything, and I think that they knew that they weren't really going to get a big advantage out of it anyways because of the power of that soaking Viking. But finally, the roam is coming up over the shoulder and into the arrows, but Erho is a tanky beast, my friend. He is not going to go down early.
No, he is not. That was a very dangerous situation for Erho there, but he was able to make it out just barely with his life. And where is the roam squad going to go now? It looks like they're headed back to mid, and McIntyre actually possibly scouting it there. McIntyre moving around towards mid, and in the bottom lane, just Vala continuing to put pressure on the bottom. Zagara easily clearing that up though.
Ozzy had a little bit of a low hit point. Eric, Max Prime is going to come up for the love tap, but Erho's going to be all right out of it. Inception's not really able to do a lot of creep coverage here, not up against that multi-shot Trummel, but that's going to be the top tribute. Now, I'm not entirely confident that the barrel, that compLexity is going to be able to do much about this.
Yeah, compLexity is getting quite a bit zoned here, and they don't have Vala, but on the other hand, Gryphus doesn't have Zagara as well, but we do have Erho coming in here, trying to do what he can.
Yeah, but Ozzy, again, some fantastic positioning there. Was able to get off some good damage, had the jump ready to go, but Olaf is just too far forward. The first kill of the game is going to be a quarter worth of Viking, but it's still so many bodies here from Gryphus, and it's actually kind of curious. The bottom lanes are not coming up, and in fact we're actually now out soaking those Vikings because both of them are in attendance here at this tribute.
Yes, we do have Zeratul clearing a little bit in the middle, and we finally have Gryphus trying to gather here, but Yanda from the side of compLexity is going to interrupt that with an auto attack from Tassadar. And we actually had Vala recall to base, so that's going to be some uncontested experience in bottom here.
Yeah, so Vala not able to 1v1 Zagara. I mean, we sort of knew that going back and forth either way, and it does look like Gryphus is just going to give it up. They're saying it's not worth their time. It's way too much effort for too little reward. Now, McIntyre, he's going to actually start things off, and some good blinks and body blocks. That's going to be it for Zagara, so some nice return damage coming out from Not Trummel and McIntyre for that kill. That will bring us still to a little bit of a lead here for compLexity. They're definitely dealing with the early game Gryphus a lot better this round.
Yeah, it was really nice delay by them on the tribute in the top, but I felt like Gryphus had a little bit of a lead following that fight, but the gank onto Zagara there definitely securing a bit of lead back to the side of compLexity. And we do have Gryphus taking those bruisers from their side of the map, and compLexity also matching them as well and getting those bruisers. And both teams also now going for their Siege Giant camps as well.
So Bruisers, Siege Giants, and the next tribute. Now we've had a tribute bottom, we've had a tribute top. This should be on, what, the right-hand side. Well, it will be the right-hand side. Looks like it's going to be the top right-hand side. And we do have now heroics. We've won the race to 10 from compLexity, but it's not going to be a very distant win because now we do have the 10 here from Gryphus as well. Max Prime is thinking about coming up here. And here comes the Vikings as well. A lot of heroics on the board, and we do got the Apocalypse, Devouring Maw, Starfall Wombo ready to go, Nick.
Yeah, lots of AoE damage from Gryphus. Will it prove to be the bane of compLexity again in this game? We will have to see, as Urho is trying to start the fight just a little bit, but Gryphus backing off a little bit. And we do have the Vala and Tassadar trying to clear out the bruisers from Gryphus' side.
Now, it's not the end of the world if this tribute does go from either side, because it is 1-1. It's not a cursed threat. There's no quick 3-0 here. But Arrow's actually now going to be a little bit too far forward from his team. Ozzy's going in, looking for the kill on top of McIntyre. Here comes the boat, but blinks once more. You called it, sir. It is going to be that Divine Storm. Unfortunately, it doesn't really look like it did much, but at the same time, we had the Maw, and it didn't take down anyone.
No, it did not. And the Tranquility actually being chosen for the side of Gryphus, able to keep them quite healthy in that fight. And we still have compLexity trying to push the issue here. I'm not sure that's going to work. And we do have Gryphus taking the tribute. And ETC coming in with a big stage dive here.
Yep, stage dive and the strafe. The Apocalypse not really hitting the mark here. From Max Brown, we got the Void Prison now into the back as well. It's going to keep Kandar and Inception from the rest of this fight. The Vikings are all dead, and they're gone out of this one. But they did, however, get the tribute for their deaths, but still a very convincing fight for compLexity. It looks like they were able to stagger out their ults very nicely, and they were able to weather out not only the boat, but that big Wombo capability. Top lane, their Siege Giants have done some work. The gate is no longer there, but I can say the same for the bottom ones.
Yeah, and we already have another tribute spawning here. Non-stop action in this game. And will Gryphus be able to come and take this one again and curse compLexity? compLexity with that lead here, but not high enough of a lead to have that extra talent here. So Gryphus is going to want to push the issue quite quickly here because they know they are on a bit of a timer against compLexity.
Yeah, level 12, 12 and a half. That's very close to that 13. Do we have a boat? Well, it says we do, and it actually looks like it does if I actually select him. Arrow's going to try his best to zone it out, but you know, if any of these channels get off here from Gryphus, we're going to have to deal with a curse. Not the end of the world from compLexity, but it's definitely something that they don't want to deal with. Blinks is going to be a big target there from Max. They're still trying to get a lot of this poke off. The range from Kionda on that Psy Storm is actually starting to really pay off with that poke coming back and forth. Arrow in that choke. He's looking to get into this, but Max Prime is setting up such a good wall. Here comes the boat, Nick, as he's going to be trying to chase off McIntyre. McIntyre's going to have to really just get out of that one, but the boat gets shrinked. Level 13. We soaked and we poked, and it was enough, but a fantastic Maw. It's going to put 3 of the compLexity boys down, and here comes the big Wombo. Unfortunately, Wombo not secure, but the Void Prison goes off now, and it's just as good. Void Prison into the stuns. They're looking for the kill on top of Inception. They're not going to get it, but instead they will get Max Prime, and they, however, are cursed on the back of all this.
Yeah, I mean, compLexity was doing a really nice job of delaying the tribute from Gryphus acquiring it, but they just were not able to kind of get in there and kill them before the Tyrande from Gryphus was able to gather that tribute. So despite the fact that they had a nice fight, they were just zoned out too long, and Kandar 15 was able to gather that tribute. And I feel that the curse can be quite beneficial here for Gryphus. They only did lose that Diablo there, so I feel that they can get kind of decent value out of this tribute, but we have seen in the past compLexity dealing with curses quite well. They are kind of spreading out a bit. They do have Tassadar in the top lane here, clearing those waves, and Zeratul in the mid. Only thing they were lacking is one rotation to the bottom, but we do have Gryphus going for that Grave Golem and compLexity trying to contest.
Yeah, they gotta try to just deal with some poking back and forth. They gotta wait for this Taster to come in. We do got the Divine Storm, we got the Strafe, but we're still about 10 seconds out from the rest of all the ults. Max Prime got stunned, I think, by that Golem, and he actually gets down really low on the hit by Shevatos now in the front line, saying nope, doesn't want to deal with that. Olaf is gonna drop. Ozzy, however, doesn't have that jump ready to go. The Strafe is gonna chase off all the Vikings, and now Max Prime is gonna be the target. This Golem is so low. We did get off that Apocalypse just before the Diablo goes down, and now compLexity will complete the steal. We had the Roots go down. Kandor's not going anywhere. Air will get behind him and secures that kill. Shevatos looks like he'll live, at least for now. Trummel can't hit him, but it looks like Balog is going to actually drop instead on the other side of that fight. 15 to 13. compLexity up 6 and a bit kills to the 3, and now they're dealing with this Grave Golem, and Shevatos is just on the wrong side of the line of scrimmage there, Nick.
Yeah, and compLexity's got to be feeling really comfortable now. That Grave Golem steal is such an important moment in this game, and now we do have compLexity up 2 full levels. That curse basically getting mitigated by compLexity. Gryphus gotta feel really not so good about only getting 1 fort from compLexity's side of the map.
Yeah, when they did get that curse, we see this a lot. If you actually fight through a curse, you're not pushing, but you're not defending. But still, the defense sometimes is going to hold. And if you're not really able to capitalize like a double fort, a triple fort on the back of all of that, well, I mean, you've really given up a lot of pressure for a very minimal gain. And the minimal gains have really shown here because we're now up 2 levels from compLexity, and they have only really put 1 tribute into their pocket. And we're going to be looking at the next spawn. There it is, into the top. And it's not curse pressure, but at the same time, I mean, we've had to deal with Brave Golems. We're going to look at another one here, and multiple kills going the way of compLexity as well. Put them in the driver's seat very firmly.
Yeah, and knowing they do not need this tribute, they're going straight for their boss on their side of the map. And yeah, I just feel that Gryphus kind of didn't split up their heroes enough during that curse, and were not really able to capitalize as much as they could have. They did send a lot of their heroes in the top lane, resulting in a top fort kill, and compLexity, on the other hand, did split themselves pretty well and were able to soak up a lot of that experience. So again, we do have compLexity with this Grave Golem currently pushing into the bottom lane, and I mean, Gryphus is kind of hard-pressed right now, actually losing Eric.
How did the Eric die top? I was just looking at him. There's no one there.
He just died to creep side.
That, I don't know. Ozzy on game number 1 was fantastic with the Vikings. He hasn't quite been as impressive this round. And I gotta say, compLexity has really adapted to the playstyle of Gryphus in a very short amount of time. But, down a Viking means that the boat is going to be split. In fact, the boat's not even going to be a factor here because there's not going to be a team fight. 2 Vikings still pushing up the top. Eric is back in base. We did push all the way up to the keep, however, and that is secured level 18 now for compLexity and the map positioning to pick up their 2nd tribute, which means they will be forcing a curse or a fight in this next tribute.
Yeah, it's going to be up to Gryphus to kind of soak as much experience as possible here and take a fight before the next tribute. They do not want to let compLexity get the next curse because that will put them very close on their way to the level 20. And you just need Gryphus to kind of look for a fight here and hopefully make something happen before compLexity's timer on them runs out.
Diablo went with his Flamewar at level 16.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. It could be a misclick. We do usually see the other talent.
Firestorm versus Fire Devil, yeah.
Exactly. We usually do see that. I'm not quite sure if that was a misclick or some kind of next level thing that I'm not aware of, but I really think that's probably just a mistake.
Well, we are about to hit 19 here from compLexity, and before that next tribute spawns, we've been looking at a lot of these towns going back and forth. It's very much a fighting Tassadar. you see here. He not only has the psionic range, but the static charge, distortion beam for the Archon, and then the second strike. So he has been putting up some pretty decent damage numbers going back and forth. Something that if you have quick eyes, well, maybe not if we look at Trummel here. I think he's going to be okay. There's just really not a lot of follow-up to that. McIntyre at level 4, sustained anomaly. You've been noticing a lot of his bombs have been blowing up AoE style. He's been making very good use of those.
Yeah, Zeratul being quite nice in this game, and we do have the Void Prison going down onto the Toronto.
Yeah, that Void Prison could have definitely been better. Airho did jump into the back of that as well, but a fantastic Starfall. We do got the Maw up there, just going to keep Kionda down, so a lot of these AoE disables not really hitting a lot of their marks, but Uther is going to be the collapse. The boat is done. There goes Airho as well, and all of a sudden compLexity not looking so good, especially since they're the ones 2 levels up. They're not going to take a kill in this fight, but they're also not going to get cursed. There is a little bit of a leeway here. So if they just retreat and reset, they can still prevent a curse next round, but I don't think they have any hope of stopping this next Grave Golem.
Oh no, there's no way they're going to be able to stop this Grave Golem here. But one thing that I can say about compLexity is that they are very close to level 20, and additionally, the respawn timer on their Grave Golem, I believe, should be staggered enough for them to clear Gryphus's Grave Golem, and even should Gryphus want to contest the Grave Golem of compLexity, I feel that compLexity is going to have that level 20 power spike that is so coveted by teams in this game.
Well, we're going to have to see, because that was not a very encouraging team fight whatsoever. Now, you are right with the staggered timer. They do got a Grave Golem top, but they still got about 50 seconds until that bottom one comes up. Uther and Airho are now alive. But compLexity is actually not opting to defend at all. They picked up their siege golems, or their siege giants here, and that's going to help with this defense. They're just going to leave Airho here, and they're going to go for this tribute, because they absolutely need to, but they're not there in time! It's going to be the second curse against compLexity. They are split from their teammates here as well. Airho is still up top defending, and is just too little too late. Their golem might have been staggered, but that tribute was not in their favor whatsoever.
Yeah, and we do have the engage coming here from Urho. He's going to go to stage dive in and get right on Toronto here.
Oh gosh, but that bolt from Trummel was 100% needed. Ozzy getting to that back, looking for that snipe, doesn't quite find it. Airho did come in. There's the Maw as well. Maw, Starfall, and the Apocalypse. The Apocalypse not again really hitting the mark that they wanted them to. Level 20 to 19 and a curse. I mean, these buildings are not activating whatsoever. Man, that Owl Pierce getting some big value on that last one. But compLexity is once again just forced more onto the back foot here.
Yeah, and compLexity trying to make something happen. Having that level 20 and the Void Prison coming down only on the Toronto once again.
Yeah, and Trummel's again going to be the big target. He gets the shielder from Kayonda. Ozzy 100% is going for Trummel, but 100% will die. Loses all 3 Vikings in that attempt, and now we have a bit of a confidence boost. We had that Archon out. It's doing the damage. Airho is into the back as well, just trying to stagger out the retreat here from Gryphus. Max Prime in the front is going to be the big target, but the blink forward is going to be enough to keep Airho alive, at least for now. The Owl goes out, hits McIntyre, hits the Airho, but the Lunar Flare does miss. And I think finally we are going to reset. Every heroic is actually down, but would you believe Starfall's back up? Either way, it was Vala for Triple Vikings by the end of it all. And that was during a curse. What did Gryphus get with that curse? Well, they got the top key.
Gryphus got a lot of value out of that curse, especially considering the fact that they were not even level 20 when that curse spawned, but they did have the zoning capabilities to prevent compLexity from denying them that curse. And we do have Urho getting a little bit caught out here in that bottom target rush.
This is a little bit of a troublesome situation for him. He is a really tanky guy, though. He was just looking to put out that scouting drone, and unfortunately, he finds the party bush, as he said. McIntyre goes in. He's looking for a kill here on top of one of those Vikings. If he didn't kill any of the Vikings, the boat will just be that much less powerful when it comes to the damage output. But we're 10 seconds away from the Archon. We got 5 seconds here on the Void Prison. We're going to try to stagger those out. Every other heroic is available in the game right now. And you know, this feels like a do or die situation right here.
Yeah, the Grave Golem being a major point of contention right now, and we have both teams kind of posturing. We do have compLexity making sure that Gryphus isn't trying to start that Grave Golem, but we do have the Zeratul in the main base, getting into position now. Could we see... Oh, and Urho is actually on the run here, kind of out of position. But
Yeah,
it
on
looks
the
like
run.
he should be okay here.
Yeah, we've already thrown down one Roots, and the Vikings have actually been left to their own devices. Up goes the boat, and the stun triple kill on top of the Vikings. That's going to be a funeral pyre tonight. 2 people go down into the mob, but that was the upgraded global starfall there as well. And a fantastic return. Voidbirds and McIntyre goes in. They're going to look for this body block, and Shevatos has nowhere to go, and he's going to be the big target. He does drop. Max Prime looks like he's going to be able to walk away, but I cannot say the same for Inception. Unless he has that blink ready to go, Airho should have his as the return, and Inception just cannot outrun this 20% Rockstar aura, and down he goes. A fantastic fight for compLexity as they take home 5 kills and 3 heroes, and now they're going to be pushing up their own right through the mid.
Yeah, a very, very nice fight for compLexity. They did pick off the Vikings quite early into the fight, forcing a boat from the Vikings player of Gryphus, but out of the boat, he was Divine Stormed by Blinks, the user player of compLexity. Really nice pickup here, and sometimes just using those heroics on Vikings can be quite good.
Arrow went home, healed up, used the stage dive to get across the map. There goes the 1 keep. Are we going to go for more? We still got 10 seconds on Malfurion, 20 or so on Zagara, but you can see on the mini-map they're making a beeline for their own boss. Right now, Gryphus is basically stuck in base for the next 25 seconds with this curse. They have to defend because any kind of damage done right now could snowball into a big win for compLexity. Their own core, 94%. Those earlier golems, not really doing the damage that they needed them to do. And again, we're almost into these do or die situations.
Yeah, Grave Golems at this point in the game, very, very dangerous, especially when the Golem is not alive in the lane, corresponding lane of the Grave Golem. So Gryphus is going to have to defend that Grave Golem coming from compLexity. But they are dealing with Urho, and now the rest of compLexity has showed up. A Void Prison going down onto that beacon.
I think that might have been a bit of a mistake. Max Prime overpowered Arrow on top of this point, and there goes the Malfurion. He gets absolutely blown up. Arrow is still alive. The Grave Golem went to the compLexity, and there goes the boat as well. A lot of kills going from back and forth, but we do got this redemption ready to go. They're going to try to keep Trummel up. Arrow is now going to get some flash shields as well, but it's not enough. Lynx comes back to life. Trummel and Kianda have to collapse and try to just support this out. The Diablo went down. He's back in town. The Eric is back there. There goes the rest of the Vikings, but this bottom lane Grave Golem is starting to work away on this core, and Diablo is the only defender, and at the same time, the top Golem is now marching its way towards that keep.
Yeah, and compLexity being down a couple heroes here, I don't know if they're going to want to try to end it. It could be quite a dangerous thing here. But that top Grave Golem actually getting chunked quite a bit, and I do believe Gryphus will be able to save that top keep. Actually, I don't know. It's getting quite close, and it's looking like that top keep is actually going to fall here.
The top keep down, core down to 29%. If there's a big objective on the map and we can observe Gryphus is going for it, we could very easily have a core rush right through this bottom lane.
Yeah, compLexity having a lot of map control, getting those bruisers out from Gryphus' side of the map, the middle lane being pushed out by compLexity, the bottom lane being pushed out by compLexity with those catapults as well, and we only have a kind of even lane in top due to the fact that compLexity's keep was picked off a bit earlier, so we do have those catapults barreling down the top lane. But we do have compLexity taking the bruisers on their side of the map as well, grabbing some more mercenaries in the siege giants in that top lane, just applying so much map pressure on the map, and Gryphus has nowhere to go but defend their base. And now that top lane that we were talking about is going to be a little bit counteracted now by those siege giants from compLexity.
So we're 0-0 for tributes. It's 25, almost 26 minutes in. I don't think tributes are going to be really the end all right now. With a 30% core up against a 94, can Gryphus even viably just branch out and even look for that? Because I really don't think they can. In fact, they're going to find Kianda down here, and he's just going to use that Dimensional Warp to get out of dodge. Inception and Shevatos are in that Void Prison. Here comes finally the Tranquility. The Apocalypse actually hits a lot of targets right there. From compLexity, Kianda's now back into the thick of things. Didn't have that Dimensional Warp ready to go. Tastar is now actually going to be down for 60 seconds as the rest of compLexity now has to get out of dodge, but I'm not entirely too sure McIntyre is going to have what it takes to get out of this one. Ozzy is just attacking him there with the Eric. We've already used the Void Prison, and that is going to be a dodge with the Blink, but can Ozzy pick him up? Because I think he can. He just needs one more attack, but it's not going to happen. He's going to have another Blink ready to go. Shevatos will not be able to finish him off, but we do got Bruisers pushing in the mid. As you said earlier, we got Catapults pushing out somewhere else. Could this be a core rush?
I'm not sure, because Gryphus has to defend their core here as well. There are so many mercenaries out on the map for compLexity. Despite the fact that compLexity kind of took a bad fight there, they do have that pressure on the core, and Gryphus is not really going to be able to apply pressure to compLexity's base while these heroes are dead.
Trumbull's going to be a big target here. The over-the-shoulder into the Lunar Flare. Ozzy's going for it as well, looking to grab that kill on top of Trumbull. In fact, it's going to be Eric. It's just drops. Absolutely. He does not have the hit points into this late game to deal with some of the burst available to compLexity. So, I mean, it's not the end all to have Eric out of it. We can still get a boat up in, it looks like, well, now. But it's going to be a 2 Viking boat rather than the 3. Here comes Airho right into the thick of things as well. Trumbull once more is going to be the big target. The Void Burst into the mat gets Airho in it as well as Shevatos. Here comes the Apocalypse, but nobody gets hit by whatsoever. Ozzy, however, in that boat is able to pick up the Tastar. McIntyre once more is on the run. Blinks is dead. He has the redemption. He's going to have to make a U-turn out of this fight. Airho is going to mid. He's going for core.
Yeah, the core being exposed quite a bit. No keeps alive for Gryphus, and Urho is just barreling right down into the core. We still have a skirmish going on between McIntyre and the Tyrande of Gryphus, but will Gryphus be able to defend the core? Yes, they are pushing Urho back, and Urho actually getting caught out a little bit here. Will he get picked off? No, he has the Bolt of the Storm.
Kandar with the 6th Spidey sense kills McIntyre. Could this be the push? Could this be the 2-0?
Looking like it could possibly still happen. The dream is still alive for Gryphus, and Trumbull is being chased down in the top lane. Will he get picked off here? It's possible that he is. And yes, Valkyrian coming in here from the side flank, and his compLexity just thrown the game.
Now, as I said, I don't think anybody cares about tributes at this point. It's still sitting there. Right-click to gather. But there's only, what, 2 team members alive here right now? Airho actually is going to go back into the core. He's going to try to peel them off of this, but he can't win a base race, not against this entire enemy team. And there goes the Maw. Blinks is out of commission. Kianda is back, does not have that Archon ready to go. Double Storm aside, I don't think we have enough here for compLexity to defend, and their core is dropping so very quickly. We can't even get through the shields on the other side of it, and Airho leaves the game in shame. 0% core, and this will be the 2-0 for Gryphus, and they are now joining the Giants of Europe in our top 8 next weekend here for the Gosu Cup #1. Oh my.
What a game for core. I gotta say,